Hey, hey, hey. How you going, everyone?
We really need to come up with a better opening than
Hello, hello, hello. What about that one?
I think there's copyrights on both of those there, Simon.
No, I think it's going to be one of those days today.
Very much so.
No worries. How you going, everyone? Great to have you on board. Fantastic to have you joining the show. What have we got coming up, Jess?
Well, we've got lots of things coming up. We will be talking about chains and adjustments.
Chains and adjustments.
Yes.
You're on it? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You might be doing a few product drops. I'm not sure on that one. I did handball you that one today.
You did.
I did.
Yep.
I did.
Yeah.
And we'll be talking about the upcoming trials.
Yeah, coming events.
And a few other bits and bobs.
Yeah, and big shout out to the AJS Club for the TRS 2-day. That was an awesome, epic weekend.
Though I think I'm going to put a complaint in. There was a couple of times where it was getting a bit borderline, a bit too hot when the sun did come out.
Yeah.
Still not used to this sunny weather at a trial.
I know.
It's a bit odd.
It was incredible. And a big shout out to the Thomas family for the use of their property at Marangarup. That was awesome. Unfortunately, Davey come home with a bit of a dent in the front of his rally car
just
after
a
hitting a
tree.
So he reckons it was only a minor scratch. So hopefully he gets that sorted out.
Well, I'd like to have him as a dad if that was a minor scratch on my car.
Danger. But a couple of outstanding rides at the TRS 2-day. Young Jackson.
Yeah, he's now elevated to white plate. He's no longer allowed to be in black plate.
Yeah, I know. He's really chomping along, so that's awesome. Dick Yates took the event out over the 2 days. He had a fierce battle with Gary Connell on the Vertigo. Gary won the second day.
Yep.
But Dick Yates won it overall, the whole thing. So that was
nice.
a pretty tight comp there. And speaking of Gary's, Gary Klassen had an awesome ride in the yellow plate.
He did, especially on his last lap of Section 2.
When you were telling him to jump.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was a very specky jump.
So that's cool. And also Ken Hodges, good ride in the blue line. So well done there, Ken. Good ride there. What's the name? We're going to talk about chains.
Chains.
Now, the reason we're talking about chains is not because we haven't talked about them before.
No.
Right? And we've raised it with yous about the checklist. And I'm sure yous have all downloaded our bike checklist off the website. And Mr. Paul Peacock was about to start the TRS 2-day.
He was.
And
wasn't it day 2?
No, it was
first day.
First day, I think it was. And his chain was that stretched, there was no more adjustment left. So we had to quickly pop a new chain on for him. So this is complimentary to Mr. Peacock.
Yes, and I significantly remember Neil was giving out a point to your chain was loose and you hold it out, it would smile.
It would smile.
It would smile, which I thought that was actually not a bad thing to sort of remember. I don't know why a loose chain would want to smile. It should really be frowning.
Well, yeah. Well, maybe the chain's smiling because it's a bit loose, but the owner's the one going to be frowning.
One or the other.
Yeah, but I thought we'd cover it again. Now, I've got Neil to knock up a few photos and everything like that. So we'll go to the principle of why you have to have a certain amount of slack in your chain. So we'll talk about that. And anyone that's been around bikes will notice, particularly with enduro bikes, their chains look like they're really slack compared to trials bikes. So we'll talk about the difference and why you have to have a certain amount of slack in your chain, but not too much like Paul Peacock's was. So Neil, do you want to
bring up the image?
Flick to this image and then we can talk to it. So, as you can see by this diagram here, you've got your front sprocket, which drives your chain off your motor. Then you've actually got, coming back, you've got your pivot point of your swinging arm. Now, what happens is, with your swinging arm under tension, your rear shock and all, generally your swinging arm will sit down a little bit. Now, as you load the bike, your swinging arm's going to come up, and because of the pivot point, because your swinging arm doesn't pivot at the point that the chain pivots at, so to speak, off the motor, as your swinging arm comes up, it's going to move away from your front sprocket, hence stretching your chain out a bit. So that's the reason why you've got to have a certain amount of slack in your chain, so that you can get your swinging arm to the level point without your chain being over tensioned, and theoretically, basically, if it's too tight, you're going to snap your chain. And
is that a regular, like, it's not regular, but it something that
it's not something that you see a lot in trials of actually snapping chains. But if you've got and generally the issue is people have got their chain too loose, not too tight. Pretty rarely you have them too tight, but if you have them too tight, you're putting a lot of preload on your wheel bearings, and of course on your front sprocket drive bearing as well. So it's not ideal to have them over preload, but you need to have them loose enough so that the chain can stretch out with the swinging arm. So so that's the reason why. Now, if we go back to that photo, Neil, if you want to go back to that one. Now, you can see this one here. Looking at this chain here, it's probably a little bit loose. Hasn't been tensioned since the last trial.
Picture of a loose chain.
Yeah. Oh, Neil's got a really good picture of a loose chain.
Just come back to you guys for a sec.
Okay. So
there we go.
Neil's going to show us a picture of a really loose one.
Here's a loose one.
A loose loo?
Can you see it there?
Ah, yeah. There you go. Yep.
And then if we bring it back a picture, this is with the chain tension
pulled down,
and you can see how slack both sides of the chain are. But this is what it looks like when the chain tension is released, and you can see the top of the chain looks tensioned, but the bottom
definitely not.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
So the old rule of thumb basically is your thumb, and that's just a very loose rule of thumb. But if you need to have at least get your thumb between the top of your chain tensioner block and your swinging arm.
So what happens if you're like my dad and you have sausage fingers?
Sausage fingers. I'm going to say with your dad, with the woodwork he's done, it's a wonder.
He has fingers.
He
has.
Well,
at one stage there was a thumb hanging off. So
yeah. So that's your general rule of thumb, but the main thing is to understand that principle that your swinging arm will stretch out as it comes up, and you need to allow enough chain slack so that you can get your swinging arm level without over tensioning your chain. Now, we thought we'd go show you a few photos of the 3 different types of chain adjustments. So Neil, if you wanted to bring those up. So this one here that you can see is your typical snail cam chain adjustment. Now, if you're tensioning up your chain, and normally what I would do is tension up your snail cam on your chain side to get the chain roughly to the right spot. Then make sure you count your notches on your swinging arm. Make sure the opposite snail cam on the other side is exactly the same number of notches, so your wheel and your rear sprocket is running true.
So this one's sitting at 5.
So that's got 5 notches. So when you go to the other side, you want to make sure your other side snail cam is at least 5 notches. All right. So that's one style. So let's have a look at another one. Now this is another different style, a little bit like the old traditional push bike ones in a way. Now this one just has a locking nut and a bolt. And naturally you loosen your main axle bolt off, and then you unlock your lock nut, wind that bolt out, that pushes your axle back to tension up your chain. And you'll notice, I don't know if you can point to it, Neil, down below there you can see there's a mark in their swinging arm. Yep, there.
Oh really? That mark there?
Yeah, that mark there. And then yep.
Oh, is that?
I thought they were damaged.
No, they're actually marks in your swinging arm, and on the red bit you'll see there's a mark on the red bit there, so you've got some kind of a guide.
Oh, see, I thought you were pointing out the marks that Paul Peacock left on my bike yesterday. I did hear about that, and there will be an invoice getting sent out for damage to my bike.
Yeah. he underestimated the lack of power of the 125. He's so used to the 300 just going plonk, 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 plonk,
yes,
plonk.
Goldie was a bit sore.
Yeah.
Like, even I don't do that much damage to her. And I've thrown her a couple of times.
Danger. So that's another type of chain adjustment. If you want to have a look at the gas, now it's basically the same system as the snail cam on the first one Neil showed you, but with the gases, they've actually tucked the snail cam in between the swinging arm and the wheel. Now, it's a great little concept, although it makes it a little bit harder to count your notches. So that's the thing, but that's a good little design. Now, while we're actually on that picture, Neil, if you want to stay on that picture for me, I'm going to talk about rear sprockets and discs. So we're on the picture.
Oh.
Yep. Yeah. So couple of things while we're looking at this picture here. Check your wheel bearings. So when you're adjusting your chain, check your wheel bearings. Check them for movement. And the other thing you want to have a good look at, we've had a reasonable number of them recently, and that is rear discs and also front discs, but predominantly rear discs cracked.
Bolts. Oh, cracking.
Yeah, cracking. And where you're showing there.
There?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
this sort of area here?
That's the common area. But we also had some through the braking pad surface of the disc as well, in the smaller channeling. You know what I mean?
Like this sort of a groove here.
Yeah, that groove there. Now your rear disc, when you're riding, as you know, when you're trying to sneak through a gap in rocks, all you want to do is make sure you get through the gap, and you really don't care what happens to your rear wheel. So your poor old rear disc sometimes, and your rear sprocket, can take a bit of a hammering at times. So, but I just thought I'd make a point to you is to check your rear discs out, because we've had a couple of them cracked recently. So, and it's not something that you think of, but have a good look at your rear disc. Unfortunately, Stuart McNaught had his actually front brake hub was cracked where the disc bolts on, and he couldn't quite work out what was going on, and then he found it. So with trials bikes, unfortunately, when you do give them a big flick, as you all know. Yes.
2 more days and I see a surgeon.
Oh no. So they do sometimes get thrown against rocks at great heights, and they do cop a bit of impact. And so there's a couple of tips for you to keep an eye on those sorts of items for you. Now, what's happening with our website, Jess?
Well, not really a lot happens on the outside, but it was more what we did on the inside. It was an inside job. But we have swapped over from, we were dealing with WooCommerce.
Yep.
So we're now dealing with Shopify. So most of you will get an email that you'll need to actually re-log into your account and reset a password. We do apologise for this inconvenience, but
passwords can't be transferred across, obviously.
No, that can't be transferred across. So there is just that slight inconvenience. Yeah. But other than that...
And we're working through the website, because with the changeover between the two different systems, some things haven't carried over. So we're going to have to work our way through the website and just double check everything. We really appreciate it if you spot something that we've missed, then
definitely
drop us a line. No worries at all. Easy. And we're done a survey or something.
Yes, we have released a survey last week, because we want to make motorcycling suck less. Pretty much.
Well, that's a good motive.
Well,
yeah.
It is. And as you guys all know, we're a small little motorbike business, but we've got some pretty big ideas. But to really bring those ideas out, we need your thoughts and ideas.
Yep.
So for those of you that do complete the survey and follow us either on Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube. You only need to follow 2 of those. Pretty much most of you do.
Yep.
You will go into the draw to win either a set of golden tyres. So that is front and rear.
Yep.
Your choice of
Whatever sizing.
that you would like, or a rear Michelin Trials tyre.
Ooh, that'd be ideal for the
Well,
state
it's the
state
states
champs
are coming
up.
So that's a pretty sweet little deal.
And,
so
and that closes when?
the 3rd of September.
Closes 3rd of September.
Yes,
Right.
and then we'll do the draw on our next live show, which I think is the 8th of September.
Right.
But Neil's going to very lovingly drop in the link to the survey.
Right.
So you can go do that now. Otherwise, we do have the link on our bio in our Facebook, not our Facebook, in our Instagram account.
Yeah.
And we will have it posted up to the top of the Facebook page.
Okay.
So people can go and, let us
So,
know of their
awesome.
thoughts and ideas.
Yeah. No, we really would appreciate your feedback. It's important for us to know what you think, what you need, what you want, and that, so that we can better serve you. So that's awesome. Bikes and products and stuff. We've got the 2020 250 beta trade-in.
Yep.
Top notch, very good nick, that one. We've got the Gaerne, the bargain Gaerne 2020 300.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see her go pretty soon.
At 8.9, so that's a bargain, 8.995. We've got a couple of 2021 gases in stock. There's good stock of TRSs available, and product wise, we've had the general flow of normal products in. We had a few more boots come in, some more gloves have come in. So we're starting to get a reasonable steady flow of stock. It's been a bit of a nightmare this year trying to get stock.
Don't tell me about it.
It's crazy. So that's cool. Next event
will be the Prestige.
Nothing this weekend, is there?
Nothing this weekend. No, because someone's got a birthday coming up. Someone's going to be ready for Veterans Class.
Oh dear, poor old person.
I know. Nothing this weekend.
So that's
nothing the following weekend because there is Father's Day.
Sorry, is it the 12th of September?
No, Father's Day is the first Sunday of September.
Oh, okay.
So there's
we've got 2 weeks.
2 weeks off.
2 weeks off.
2 weeks off, but then we've got 3 weeks on.
And then.
So
we're on a 2 on and 3 off. Yeah. Sorry, a 2 off and 3 on roster. Okay.
We certainly are.
Right.
So when we get back into it, we'll kick off with the last of the Prestige on the 12th at Mental Falls.
Yep.
Now Mark and Wendy have said that camping is available.
Mark said whenever.
Whenever. So I'd be careful because some people might want to start laying squatters' rights.
Yeah.
But no, if you do want to go earlier, just send them a message. And just let them know.
They'd love to have you up there camping.
Go
no
from
problem.
there, and then the following week on the 19th is the state rounds at Woodendale Road in 2J. So registrations are still open for that one.
Yeah.
And then we have after that, it's a Pathfinders event, isn't it?
Yeah, the charity.
The charity trial. So,
although it's an inter-club event, so anyone
can
come. Yeah.
A well worth event. So everyone start hoarding all your rubbish to take down for the auction.
I think I've still got some of the bikes from the last one.
We should re-auction them.
Don't worry, I'm going to.
And we'll have a couple of surprise Moto Dynamics boxes.
Yeah, we'll have some surprise boxes.
You might get the good one, or you might get the doozy.
Actually, I got lots of stuff. Robin Ferguson won't be happy because he normally scrunches through all my odd box at the end of the year. So sorry, Robin, if you want some of my odd stuff, then you might need to come to the charity trial.
And that will pretty much wrap up September.
And then of course we'll be going into the Ashes trial and the trophy presentation.
Pretty much.
Woo-wee.
Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. Right, so sounds like we've got a couple of weeks off, so might need to get out there, do some weeding and mow the lawn.
Well, you've only really got today because it's back on rain.
Yeah, it's not going to rain for 2 weeks though, is it?
Well, look at out there. weather forecast at the moment.
Jeez, Louise. Okay, so well, that's pretty well it then. And nothing else, Jess.
Not from my end.
Okie dokie. Well, I'd say that's it from me.
And that's it from me.
So we'll see you later with your feet up. Catch you later. Ciao.
See you next week. Bye.
Bye bye.